Hey everyone, we are OnScreen Blog, and we're here to break down the Best Picture category for the 2023 Academy Awards and tell you who should win the Best Picture this year. I am Greg Earhart, columnist for OnScreen Blog and co-host of the Definitive Cinema podcast. And joining me to break down the Best Picture nominees are OnScreen Blog chief film critic and co-host of the Definitive Cinema podcast, Ken Jones. Ken, welcome. How are you?
Good, Greg. How are you doing?
Good. And then also joining me is Chris Peterson, founder of OnScreen Blog parent company OnStage Blog, and the third co-host of the Definitive Cinema podcast. Chris, what's happening?
Hello. Pleasure to be here.
All right. So, guys, this is our favorite time of year, the Oscars. You know, when the country comes together to celebrate movies and make fun of celebrity outfits and generally yell at each other for having bad taste.
Yeah,
complain. That's right. So we're not here for the outfit commentary per se. You can go to other places for that, but we're going to celebrate the best of cinema this year, and we might yell at each other here and there. So Ken, let me start with you. How do you rate this year's Best Picture nominee crop compared to prior years?
I think this is a pretty solid year. I go through and do end of year rankings for myself personally, and I honestly like most of the pictures that got nominated were in my top 20, and I could make a case for probably half of them having a strong chance of or solid case for being the best picture this year, and honestly I'm not sure I would be that upset if any of those 5 movies won.
Well, we're gonna get to there. We're gonna get to how upset we are in a minute for any of these nominees. Chris, same question. How did you feel about this year's slate?
This is kind of one of the first years where I know that this somewhat new Oscar rule, so to speak, of best picture, like nominating up to 10 films. This was one of the first years where I'm like, what, you probably could have done with 7. Like you could probably cut the fat just a little bit from this category. We'll get into a little bit more, but there are a couple pictures here that I saw that I'm like, that's not a best picture. Or there were other films that I thought were better that should have gotten a nomination instead of these ones if you wanted to take it to 10. But let me put it this way. The big 3 or 4 that absolutely had to be nominated were nominated. So all in all, pretty good year.
Yeah, the other thing I'd say, sorry to just jump in, we had a lot of movies the last 2 years that got pushed back to 2022 as well. So it makes sense that there's kind of like a bumper crop of, nominees, because of the pandemic.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I'll come clean. I published words on how I did not like this Best Picture nominee slate when they were announced. And I was reacting mostly because sort of the top candidates for Best Picture had not done much in box office, and that's been sort of a recent trend, and that was sort of bumming me out because we're nominating movies that they may truly be the best of the year, but that's no one wants to see. They're getting put out in at least limited release, if not wide, and either people don't care, not interested, and that's a shame because hopefully the best years in the Oscars are movies that people are just interested in, people go out and see, and they're great. Unfortunately, we all know, we've talked about it, Hollywood has a trend where they're, for the wide release and the big pictures, are sequels and all the comic book movies, all that stuff. And it's that in the Oscar baits where they don't care if people go see them, they're gonna make a good movie. And they're just trying to make a good movie, even if it's a very narrow audience appeal, but just go for those Oscars. But as I started really digging into and watching some of these nominees, I agree with both of you. This is a really good slate. There's some really good movies, and I think Ken, you said, or Chris, you said, there's 6 movies I think that could win Best Picture in your head, or should win.
Honestly, I was just looking at the list, and I think there's 8 that deserve to be nominated, and 6 or 7 of those I think have a case to be made for actually winning. So,
yeah, I agree. And so if you see, so for those watching, if you haven't seen, we'll get to the ones we think you should watch, but this is a good, some years are really sort of painful to try and watch all the nominees because they're again, a lot of years are just Oscar baity movies with very limited audience appeal. They're not, easy popcorn movies. This year, it's a good crop. It's even for most people to kind of go in and watch and enjoy, and also enjoy how good it is. So let's get right into it. So we're gonna talk about these nominees by playing a little bit of a game. We're gonna go through all 10 nominees, and we're gonna score them from 0 to 10 based on how upset we would be if this movie won Best Picture. Now we're not going to frame as far as how happy we would be, because that's not particularly exciting. Because the Oscars, remember, the ones we're most outraged by, right? It's the ones where the King's Speech wins over like 7 other movies that were more justified in for winning. Those are the movies we really remember. So we're going to frame it in terms of how upset we are, not how happy we are. So for 10, if you score a 10 out of 10, that means you're going to boycott the Oscars. You are really upset. You're going to be mad. You're going to be writing
Yeah, that's right.
letters.
Pitchforks.
Torches. If you score a 0, it means you basically think this movie should win Best Picture. You'd be really happy. So we're going to start off with a couple of the movies that are long shots at best to win. We'll kind of go through them probably quickly. Let's start with Elvis. Ken, let's go to you. From 0 to 10, how upset would you be if Elvis won, if they announced
Elvis as the
wins?
winner for Best Picture? That would put me at, can I go above 10?
Sure.
Okay,
right.
that would put me at ease, like Spinal Tap. This goes to 11 for me. Yeah, this movie had no business being nominated, and I would turn my TV off in disgust. So yeah.
Chris?
I'm right there with you. I'm at 10. Again, when I think about the films that were nominated and Elvis getting nominated, it's really like how did this happen? It's your typical Baz Luhrmann fever dream of a movie. If a man could make a straight up narrative film, traditionally, it might have actually been a really, really great biopic, because you're getting a really, really good performance from Austin Butler. But
right.
Other than that, it is damn frustrating to watch that movie. So yeah, 10 for me.
I'd put down a 12 for this, a little bit higher than Ken, only because it would be a mixture of like, wait, what? But like a mixture of confusion as well as upset. Like, of all the movies, I picked this, which is what I think a pretty strong year. So yeah, this, I agree. I think the only reason this is nominated because this did good box office, and there's probably some good appeal to make this part of the 10 so that people would watch. Okay, next movie, let's do Triangle of Sadness. Now, I'll just open this up by saying I have not seen this movie. This is one of 2 movies that I have not seen, so I'm going to punt on this personally. Chris, you have not seen this either.
Non-applicable.
So this is just for me.
This is just for you, Ken.
Clear the lane.
0 to 10. If this Triangle of Sadness picture,
that's probably like in the 4 to 5 range for me, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Not I wouldn't be upset, but I would be disappointed that a few other movies that were a little more deserving, in my opinion, were not the winner.
Okay. All right. Next, let's do Avatar: Way of Water. Chris, let's throw it to you. 0 to 10. How upset would you be if Avatar, they pull out the envelope and Avatar: Way of Water is this year's Best Picture winner?
200 out of 10. 200 out of 10. The movie's
more
useless.
than Elvis.
More than Elvis.
Okay.
At least Elvis is somewhat of an original idea. At least something happens in this movie. Avatar doesn't make sense as a film. It's a terrible film. There's no technological achievement that warrants a Best Picture nomination. You could film motion capture underwater. Amazing. Oh my God. Lightning, you just reinvented the wheel. The whole movie is about spending millions upon millions of dollars to chase a guy. Does he have special powers? No.
He just lived for the first movie.
He just lived through the first movie. He exists. That's why we need to go chase him. Is he holding some sort of secret mineral that is going to be priceless to generations? No, he is just one guy. So let's spend all these resources. Let's hijack a fleet of whaling ships to catch one guy. It is a useless movie. The fact that we've got 3 more of these coming is even worse. That they're all probably going to get nominated for Best Picture, which is just absolutely
Hmm.
bewilders me. So 200 out of 10. That's why I hate this movie.
Ken?
Yeah, I'm at a full 10 for this one too. I said that I thought 8. They got 8 of the nominees right, and I didn't say this, but Elvis, I didn't think, and Avatar, neither one of them deserve to be in this category. So I would no other movie that's nominated is probably even gonna get close to a 10, or I don't even know if I'd go to a 7 or 8 for the rest of them. That's how strongly I feel about Avatar: The Way of Water and Elvis
Mhm.
being so undeserving for this category.
Okay. I agree. I'm a 9 out of 10. I agree with all of your thoughts. The only reason I'm not a 10, Chris, I disagree. I do think it was a technical achievement. Some of the special effects, the underwater shots, and just in generally speaking, we're very good. And Cameron, I think that what we expected him to do in that area. But again, the rest of the movie is pretty bad. That second hour is a really rough stretch.
At least the first movie stole from Dances with Wolves. What did the
Right.
second movie steal from? I don't know. Like it just yeah. Okay.
It stole from the first movie. Like
That's true.
it's not that much. It's really not that different from the first movie, other than just like
Except the fact that
a slight change in
everybody speaks English now in this movie, so that's the difference. But anyway, yeah.
Let's move on. Women Talking. So this was the other movie I had not seen. So I'm gonna stay out of this one. Chris, you have not seen this either.
Oh, correct. So non-applicable. Yep.
Okay, Ken.
Yeah, I mean, I saw this at a film festival, and it's kind of annoying that it's that movie that comes out very late in the year with a limited release on Christmas, and then doesn't get a wide release until late January, early February. It that makes no sense to me as to why movies do that. But that's just I'm ranting.
Yeah.
I would put this at probably
this one?
like a 5 or 6. It's a movie I liked. Personally, I had in I think my top 5 for the year. But I've seen enough criticism out there wondering about the overall quality of it that I still have plenty of other movies that are well ahead of it.
Okay. All right. Now we get to the meat and potatoes of the nominees. I think movies we're all excited to talk about here. Let's start with Tar. Ken, Tar is the movie starring Cate Blanchett.
It is.
It is, yes.
Sounds like you were telling me.
Knew which one I was talking about.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yes. And now, if you don't know what Tar is about at this point, it's been covered to death, so we're not going to do a quick plot synopsis. Ken, how upset would you be if Tar won Best Picture?
Honestly, I'd be at like a 2. I think it's one of my favorite movies of the year. Cate Blanchett gives an amazing performance, and the topic is good. It's a great all around movie. I would have no reservations about this being the Best Picture winner.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm on a 5. Similar feelings. I don't feel as strong about the film as Ken does, but it's also one of those movies that's like in any other year. Like if you put this movie in the past like 5 or 6 years, I think it probably have a stronger chance of winning than it does this year. But yeah, I would say I wouldn't be lighting pitchforks. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I like Tar. I'm a 5 as well, Chris. I would be a little annoyed at this one, partially because again, I really like the movies that we haven't talked about yet, but also because I think the movie is more of a great performance.
It's character driven movie.
I think it's a good movie. I don't think it's a great movie. One of my problems is I think it's a little too long. I think it's a little overstuffed, just with story that didn't really add to the movie personally. That was just my experience watching it. And again, it's a good movie because of the great performance, not just from Cate Blanchett, but also from, I'm gonna blank on the other actress name, the person that she kind of dicks over in the movie, her assistant.
Oh yeah.
I thought she was really good in it as well. And Mark Strong, just delightful, and in the kind of few minutes of screen time. So yeah, I'm a 5 because I think there are better movies out in this slate. Okay, next, let's do All Quiet on the Western Front. Chris, let's start with you.
Oh man, I'm at a 2, and again, this is a movie that I saw like 2 weeks ago, and any other year, I'd be like, you know, bandwagon, joining the fan club, like signing every petition to, get this to be the best picture winner, but just wrong year for it. But a brilliant film, a brilliantly shot film. So yeah, two, three at the worst.
Okay, Ken.
I think I'm probably going 5 on this one. Kind of what you were saying about Tar, just not in terms of character, but there being better films and maybe in a different year. Also, I think it's been done. It's not necessarily going over like fresh material, like covering new ground. Just in it, like we know, like anti-war movies like War is Hell. It's saying something that's been said before. And this is a bad way of saying it, but it's been prettied up with amazing cinematography. I think it's definitely deserving. I believe it's nominated in Best Foreign Language Film.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so I could see it winning that, but I'm not. I would be upset. I would be mildly upset if it won Best Picture.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna disagree with both of you. I'm a 0. This is I was blown away by the movie, just by how gorgeously shot
it is a gorgeous movie,
considering this is like a bleak anti-war movie. Like there are some just amazing cinematography in this movie. I also thought the performance is really good. The soundtrack was thunderous and perfect, I think, for what this movie was trying to do. This was the movie again, I think there's some really good movies in this slate, but they're mostly smaller pictures for the most part. There's a couple, obviously. We got to Top Gun Maverick that obviously took up the canvas as well. But this one, I just left the movie thinking, man, I wish I saw this in the theater. I mean, it was just one of those types of movie experiences that was just left my jaw dropped. Not only just for cinematography, but just the way the battle scenes were done, the way they dramatized, just like the French tanks, coming in a pretty simple movement, but just done really well, and just the last 20 minutes, what's coming if you're familiar with the story, but it's just killer. It's just such a gut shot. And I thought, I would be extremely happy with this or one other movie that we'll get to wins Best Picture, but this is one of them for me. This is my 0. All right, The Fabelmans. Let's do The Fabelmans. Ken, we'll start with you.
Fabelmans, I'd put that at like probably a 3.
Okay.
I really liked it, but I feel like a broken record. There's other movies I like more.
And my kids mean more to me than anything
definitely
else on the earth. Please,
Spielberg
please,
in like peak Spielberg, like vintage Spielberg mode. It's a very personal film, so that's nice. It's got a great ensemble. Like it is definitely has the look and feel of a Oscar nominee for Best Picture. It's maybe in another year.
Yeah,
Chris?
I'm with you. I'm in a 2 with it. I won't get angry if it wins Best Picture. I'll understand why, especially when you think about the people that vote on these things. I don't want it to win Best Picture, but again, it's one of those things where how can I trash that movie? I can't. It's impossible.
It also surprisingly bombed at the box office. It's like of all the like nominated movies that Spielberg's had in his career, I think it's made the least.
Yeah, I think it was a story. It didn't. I know some movies that don't scream, you got to see in the theater, do well in the theater, but this is particularly one of them. Especially when you see, just kind of what the plot is. I'm kind of a 5 on this for one main reason. So I watched this. I really liked it. I think it was Spielberg, pretty close to his best, in terms of crafting a story that you wouldn't think would fit the big screen, but make it fit, the big screen. I'm a 5 because I can't have another movie win the Best Picture that's about movies and about the love of movies. We can't. We've had so many of them recently. I'm just like, I'm done. Like I'm over it. It's just gonna be more navel gazing, like rewarding navel gazing, from the Academy, and it's just. I know it's Spielberg and it's Spielberg at his recent best for sure, but I can't have this particular movie reward.
But
We've had
but Greg,
some movies he has.
movies are dreams.
I know, right? And we'll have a quick discussion who we think is actually going to win, not like who will win versus who should win. But this is one of the top candidates for sure. All right, let's do Banshees of Inisherin. Chris, let's start with you.
Probably it's 6. I like the movie. I wasn't high on the movie. I can see why it's getting the attention that it does. I mean, when you put this cast and this director together, they typically do really, really great work with each other. I mean, if you're into, Ireland, there's nothing, it's like you're getting the best Ireland representation.
See or don't see Ireland.
Yes, you don't see just all I like. If Good Will Hunting is like the quintessential Boston movie, then like this is like Ireland.
Definitive. Banshees of Inisherin is definitive Ireland.
Definitive Ireland.
Interesting.
Movie, Irish movie. We'll see.
Okay.
But again, great. I mean, it's good to see Colin Farrell do Academy Award level work. It's great to see Brendan Gleeson doing Academy Award level work, and Martin McDonagh doing really, really good work. So again, I wasn't high in the movie. Good performances. 5 for me.
And if I said something to you, maybe
Ken?
I said something when I
See, so this is my number 2 movie of this. So I put it at a 1. And this just, I love it. Like everything Chris said, Colin Farrell doing Oscar-worthy work. The cast getting together with Martin McDonagh again after In Bruges, and just the setting, cinematography, just great all around movie. Tragic comedy, even though Greg would disagree with that.
Yeah, I'm a 0 on this as well, along with quite the Western Front. Ken, you and I joked, like, I did not want to see this movie just because I'm big on like the plot needs to hook me in some way for it, and like this plot was just not exciting. Like, oh, good, 2 guys who pick over friendship and the early Ireland, but not that early.
1920s Ireland.
Yeah, 1920s Ireland.
That's a tough setting.
Right.
Yeah.
Not the greatest hook I've ever heard. But I watched it, and that movie really just stuck with me.
Yeah.
I think for how well it was done. I think the story it was telling, it's haunting. It's a very haunting story, and Colin Farrell's great in it. I hope he wins Best Actor. And again, it's a fairly simple story, just in terms of it's about 2 guys whose friendship deteriorates very fast, almost from the jump of the movie. But it's the themes that it deals with. Again, really nicely shot movie set in Ireland. That and All Quiet stuck with me the most after watching it, first. So if that wins, I'll be very happy, because I think that movie like that. Okay, we have 2 movies to go. Let's do the big one, Top Gun Maverick. Ken, how upset would you be?
I mean, I wouldn't be upset, but I'd put this at like a 5, just because, like, I know it made a lot of money and it's a fun movie. I just, it's not like top tier of the year for me. It's fun as hell. I saw it in the theater. I saw it on the IMAX, the biggest screen I could see it on. I bought the 4K disc when it came out. So, I mean, I'm high on the movie. I don't want to denigrate the movie, which I kind of feel like you're doing if you're explaining why you're not picking these things. But it's really, it's like splitting hairs with some of this stuff. So, yeah, I like Top Gun Maverick, just not Best Picture, top of the cream of the crop for me.
Chris?
-10. -10. I gotta tell you, early on when this movie came out, I was like, so I just like Ken, I went to go see it in a movie theater which advertises itself as the tallest IMAX in the world. Now, whether that's true or not, who knows? But it's a big ass screen. I'll put it that way. It was one of the handful greatest like movie going experiences of my life, watching that movie in that setting. And that to me is Best Picture worthy. Throw out plot, throw out great performances top to bottom. Also, when we talk about cinematic achievement, James Cameron can film all the stuff underwater he wants. He can film in the pool all he wants, but he's not getting in an F-18 and doing practical dogfighting in the 21st century filmmaking. I mean, that to me, the fact that Cruise is doing some of his own flying, irregardless, the entire cast are in those cockpits. It is an incredible movie to watch. The rewatchability, of all the 20 nominees, this is the movie that or 10 nominees, excuse me. I was like 20 best pictures. Of all the 10 nominees, this is the movie that I could watch 50 times in a row and never get sick of. I could never get sick of this movie. There's very few breaks in their pacing. Yeah, -10. And you get probably the best Tom Cruise performance you've got in at least a decade. So -10. Give it to me.
Yeah. I'm on record on OnScreen Blog as making the case for why Top Gun Maverick should win. Now that was before I'd seen some of the nominees, some of the other nominees. I'm a 2 on this. I do agree with you, Chris. Top Gun Maverick was an achievement, I think, in sound editing and special effects, practical special effects too. It's also a movie. I wanted to ask you guys quickly about this. You can't appreciate why this should be a Best Picture nominee unless you saw it in the theaters, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if that should sort of be an acid test for all of these nominees, because this is Best Picture, like Best Movie, and Hollywood keeps telling us you have to go to the theaters to see movies, like it's a movie experience.
Yeah.
And yet, they send screeners out on DVD that you watch it in your home. So like if the first time you're watching Top Gun Maverick to evaluate for the Oscars is in your home, it's not the same experience. It's just not. It is still a fun movie, but it is not nearly the same cinematic experience as watching an IMAX or even just any movie theater, honestly, because any movie theater is going to have sound equipment that's just going to best what you have, in your theater. What do you think about that concept, guys? Where it's like the Academy should make people watch all 10 of these movies in the theater to properly evaluate whether it should win Best Picture.
Nah. Nah.
No.
After going through all that, I'd say no, because like I saw women talking on the big screen, but I don't think that would change much for me if I saw it in my living room.
Well, that's not quite my point, though. It's more about watching women talking. So like,
and comparing it to seeing All Quiet on the Western Front on the big screen.
Yeah, because like, look,
I get you.
If I saw Banshees of Inisherin back to back with Top Gun Maverick in my living room, I'd be like, oh yeah, Banshees of Inisherin, that's the better movie. But if I saw both those series back to back in the theater, I think
it's so hard because there's so many different factors. Like, what's the crowd experience with a movie too? Like, that's a tough question.
Yeah, you can't. Nothing you can really do about that.
I can't give you a satisfactory answer. I don't think.
Chris, all right, give me a satisfactory answer, yes or no, on my.
Yes. These people, most of the people that vote in the Academy Awards are millionaires. They can afford to go see a movie. They can afford to rent out a movie theater by themselves. Actually, most of them probably have movie theaters in their houses. So watch the movies on these big screens.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, all right, we have one more movie to go. Right now, this is the favorite to win Best Picture. That doesn't mean it's going to win, but this is the favorite base. It's just won the Producers Guild Awards and the Screen Actor Guild Award for Best Movie. It is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Chris, we're going to start with you.
Because I'm Asian?
How upset?
Waiting for that.
How upset would you be if Everything Everywhere All at Once turns out to win Best Picture?
Well, let me put it this way. I'm -1,000.
You stole my answer.
-1,000. But I'll put it this way. I'm also 1,000 if it doesn't win Best Picture. So that's is
not the question.
The question is -1,000.
How upset?
But let me put it this way. The movie is an achievement in every sense of the word. It's an achievement in screenwriting. It's an achievement in filmmaking, editing, acting.
Okay, whatever you think about doing.
You see performances out of people that you didn't know were capable of going there. Like, talking about Michelle Yeoh is a phenomenal actress. Did I think before this movie did I think she could go to those places as an actress? No, I'll be completely honest with you. And she brought it home. And again, she'll probably win Best Actress and deservingly so. Ke Huy Quan, I mean, my God, the guy, has been gone for 30 some odd
With
years,
acting.
comes back and just kills it in this movie. Stephanie Sue. I'll be 100% honest. I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis warranted a Best Supporting Actress nomination. And even though she's the favorite to win, I'm like, I don't know. But she turns in a great performance. I mean, as silly as, like, spoiler alert, the hot dog hand sequence is, she's brilliant in those sequences. Like, she is. She's legitimately good. But I'll put it this way. I mean, it is one of those movies that comes along that is a textbook movie. Like, if you're an aspiring filmmaker, if you're an aspiring actor, if you're an aspiring cinematographer, editor, this is the movie you put in front of those people and say, this is how you do this. This is the height of what you can do in this field, across the board. And so for those reasons, it absolutely deserves the Best Miss Picture. Like I said, a negative 1,000 in terms of being upset if this won Best Picture.
So I'm going to torture Ken by saving him for last for his thoughts. I am a 3. And I actually mostly agree with your thoughts. I think it has a case to win Best Picture based on the editing alone of that movie. I have no idea how they edited that movie. Like, its achievement in editing is similar to, like, Top Gun Maverick's achievement in, like, sound, and practical effects. In my opinion, I'm a 3 only because I remember texting you, Ken, this at the time. It's like 20% too silly for me to be truly happy and think it truly should win Best Picture. For
Raccacoonie is disqualifying for you?
No, it wasn't Raccacoonie, actually. No, it was The Rocks. Like, when they, like,
oh, come on.
It was almost the hot dog fingers, but then it was The Rocks, like the scenes with her in their eye. It was just like, come on. Like, that was just my reaction. That was just my reaction to it. So it is a excellent movie. Again, I'm not gonna be upset if it wins, because it is one of the movies that I could say deserves it, and it's fine. I do think a couple movies deserve it more, but that's where I am. I'm a 3. And then, all right, that wraps it up. And I'm kidding. Ken, go ahead.
No, I'm with Chris. My answer was going to be negative 1,000.
Okay.
It's my favorite movie of the year. I saw it back in April when it first came out. In my wildest dreams, I was hoping maybe they were going to get some Oscar nominations for acting. And like an outside shot at Best Picture, and the fact that it's the favorite right now is just blowing my mind. I'm so happy for it. I am worried that something's going to come along and trip it up, which tends to happen with the Oscars. There's like a last minute swerve. Right. I don't want that to happen. I want this to win Best Picture. I want to live in a universe where Raccacoonie is in a Best Picture, where two rocks talk to each other with subtitles, where googly eyes are a prominent feature in the movie, and hot dog fingers, like all of it. Just give me all of it.
Okay, so let's do real quick. Who should win Best Picture? Chris, sounds like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yep.
And
yes, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I think the best movie I've seen this year, I'm really torn between Banshees and All Quiet. I think
Banshees.
I think oh man, so I go back and forth. It's not gonna matter. I don't think either is gonna win, but
I think Banshees has a shot.
I think I go Banshees by a tiny hair, to win. So all right. That wraps it up. You can check out, if you like this content, you can check out OnScreen Blog on onstageblog.com/OnScreen Blog. You can check out OnScreen Blog on Twitter as well as Facebook. Ken Jones, you're on Twitter as well with your film commentary. Chris, you do theater and film commentary on Onstage Blog Twitter account. And please subscribe to this channel. We will be having we do Definitive Cinema podcast episodes on YouTube, where we select the definitive movie for a given actor, actress, director, plot trope, The three of us
Genre.
make our picks for the definitive movie of their career, of the actor or director or the plot trope's career. And then we'll also do general movie commentary on YouTube on this channel throughout. So please hit subscribe. Go subscribe and stay tuned for all the latest episodes that we produce. Any closing thoughts, guys?
Good year movies. Looking forward to next year though. It's gonna be great.
Should be an interesting show. And
Hopefully no one gets slapped in the
hopefully.
face.
Yes, and again, if you want to hear our commentary on the Oscars, if you want the running commentary during the show, subscribe to Twitter at OnScreen Blog. And yeah, that's a wrap. All right, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.